There's this quiet but incredibly powerful force shaping so many of our workplaces. It's a culture of over-reporting, and it's not driven by a need for clarity or better strategy. It's driven by a deep, deep-seated fear of blame. And this quote, it just nails the core of the problem. When you're in a high blame environment, everything shifts. The whole goal stops being about running things better and starts being about creating auditable artifacts. So that mountain of reports and spreadsheets you see growing every month, it's not really there to help anyone make smarter decisions. It's a defensive wall built piece by piece to protect people and their careers when things go wrong. All right, so how does a culture like this actually take root in an organization? Well, it all starts with something we can call reporting inflation. And to understand it, we really have to get into the mechanics of institutional anxiety. Okay, so let's properly define reporting inflation. In an environment where everyone's afraid of being blamed, the main goal just flips. It's not about getting the best result anymore. It's about creating the most defensible paper trail. That auditable artifact, the signed form, the archived email, it ends up being seen as more valuable than the actual work it's supposed to be tracking. And then there's audit creep. This is what explains why the problem is so hard to get rid of. Whenever a crisis hits, say a data breach or a safety incident, the immediate, almost knee-jerk reaction is to add new controls, new reports. But these new layers are sticky. They're almost never peeled back. Even if they don't really work, they just accumulate. So when you put these two forces together, reporting inflation and audit creep, you get what the sociologist Michael Power famously called an audit society. The whole idea of auditing has escaped from finance and has moved into pretty much every field you can think of. Medicine, education, you name it. We've kind of stopped just trusting professionals to do their jobs. Instead, we demand that everything they do is constantly verified and measured. Trust is out and verification is in. But what's really driving all of this? What's the psychological engine behind it all? Well, it boils down to one of the most powerful motivators we have as human beings, the desperate need to avoid blame. There's a name for this, anticipatory blame avoidance, and it represents a huge shift in mindset. Instead of working to achieve a success you can claim credit for, people start working to make sure that if a failure happens, the blame can't possibly land on them. They're not managing risk for the organization anymore, they're managing risk to their own reputations, long before a problem even exists. And here's the real paradox. The more you try to control people with really strict, punishment-focused systems, the more defensive and self-protective they become. This whole sanction-oriented approach, as it's called, doesn't actually create responsibility. It creates extreme risk aversion. It ends up stifling innovation, and it pushes out professional judgment in favor of rigid, box-ticking procedures designed for one thing: self-protection. So, this whole psychology of blame creates a system where controls, once you put them in place, have this powerful tendency to become permanent. And this is what's known as the irreversible ratchet. It works in a really simple, predictable cycle. First, something bad happens. An incident occurs, and it looks like a weakness. Then, in response, new controls and reporting are slapped on to show that the problem is being taken seriously. And finally, that new control just becomes a permanent part of the bureaucratic bedrock, whether it actually works or not. Now, there's a formal name for this: the ratchet effect. It's a great analogy. Think of a mechanical ratchet that can only click forward, never backward. That's what happens with organizational power and control. It expands during a crisis, and these new measures are often sold as being temporary, but they almost always outlast the emergency that created them. The baseline of control just keeps ratcheting up. Just take a look at this chart. It's a perfect visualization of this process in the real world. This shows the growth of environmental policies over decades. See that trajectory? It only ever goes up. And that is a brilliant illustration of what's happening inside our organizations. Each new rule, each new policy is just another layer, steadily piling up over time, with no real process for ever taking anything away. Okay, so what's the real cost of all this? What's the price we pay for this feeling of procedural assurance? The costs are often hidden, but believe me, they are substantial. They drain time, resources, and honestly, morale. Let's make this really concrete. In the UK's National Health Service, managers report spending between 5 and 20 hours every single week just on data collection required at the national level. Think about that. That's a massive time tax. That could be up to half of a person's entire work week spent not managing healthcare, but just feeding the reporting machine. And you know what's really ironic? Sometimes when we try to fix this by cutting red tape, we actually end up making it worse. It's called the deregulation paradox. When you remove external government rules, insecure managers often rush in to fill the void with their own, often even more cumbersome, internal procedures, all to build their own protective paper trail. What all this leads to is a pretty dangerous disconnect. You get this widening gap between the official story of how work gets done, the neat and tidy process map, and the messy, complicated, adaptive reality of how it actually gets accomplished by people on the front lines. The procedures are designed for the auditors, not for the actual task at hand. So how can you tell if you're in an organization like this? How do you know when information has stopped being a tool for making decisions and has just become, theater? Well, there are some pretty clear signals to watch out for. The culture starts to prioritize being procedurally correct over actually achieving the mission. Decisions get constantly delayed waiting for just one more report. You see a boom in roles with titles like compliance and assurance. And ultimately, people start doing their work to be auditable, not necessarily to be useful or effective. These are all symptoms of a system that's caught in an audit loop, basically just performing for itself. And this all leads us to one final, really critical question. If all of this data collection, all of this reporting, isn't actually leading to better, faster, or smarter decisions, then what on earth is the point of it all? The answer is that it's a performance. It's a ritual of verification that's designed to create the appearance of control, not the reality of it. In low-trust environments, information stops being a tool and becomes theater. And that is a crucial, crucial distinction to understand.